Some places are alive with secrets. Forests, prisons, old rectories, where the air feels heavier, shadows linger, and visitors report the same figure. A pale man with hollow eyes, silently watching. Whispers in the wind, footsteps where none exist, a presence that cannot be explained. From Japan to America to England, witnesses describe him again and again. This is not coincidence. Something moves through these haunted places, unseen, observing, waiting. At the base of Mount Fuji, Japan, lies Aokigahara, the suicide forest, notorious since the 1950s. Twisted roots and jagged lava rocks make it easy to become lost. Visitors often report a chilling sensation of being watched. Hikers speak of a man, pale and silent, appearing perfectly still among the trees. No movement, no speech, just presence. In 2017, hiker Takashi Morita was exploring near the Sea of Trees. He saw a figure behind a moss-covered tree. His heart raced, but when he blinked, the man was gone. Only footprints remained, leading nowhere. Rangers and search teams also report seeing the same figure during hiker rescues, standing silently, vanishing when approached. Park authorities record hundreds of sightings yearly. Whether a guardian spirit, the restless dead, or something beyond explanation, the pattern is clear. The figure appears repeatedly, always pale, always silent, always watching. Aokigahara hides its secrets well. Accounts in Aokigahara often follow a chilling pattern. Hikers enter alone or in small groups, and at some point, they feel a presence, hear whispered footsteps, or glimpse the pale man with hollow eyes. One 2015 incident involved 3 tourists near the Sea of Trees, all reporting a dark figure standing silently in a clearing. When they approached, it vanished, but footprints remained pressed into the soil, leading nowhere. Search and rescue teams also encounter the entity during missions. Rangers patrolling trails report sudden cold chills, muffled footsteps behind them, and shadowy movement that disappears when investigated. Sometimes hikers who become lost claim the figure guided them back to the path, always silently, always unseen, then gone before anyone can confirm its presence. The forest itself amplifies the terror. Dense canopy blocks sunlight, twisted roots make footing treacherous, and the silence is absolute, broken only by wind or distant bird calls. Those who spend hours wandering describe a sense of being watched, a feeling that the entity knows exactly where they are. Cameras capture nothing, yet footprints and impressions appear in locations where no one has walked. Despite decades of study, no explanation satisfies the witnesses. Some suggest restless spirits of those who died here. Others speak of folklore and protective guardians. Yet the consistency of sightings, over decades, across multiple hikers and locals, cannot be ignored. In Aokigahara, beauty and danger intertwine, and the pale man remains, waiting silently for those who dare to enter. From the dense, silent forests of Japan to the cold, echoing stone corridors of Philadelphia, the same presence appears. Visitors describe a pale, hollow-eyed figure silently pacing the halls, always watching. The centuries and continents change, but the pattern remains, a place steeped in history, tragedy, and lingering spirits, haunted by the same type of entity. Opened in 1829 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Eastern State Penitentiary was designed as the world's first true solitary confinement prison. Its tall stone walls, narrow corridors, and isolated cells were meant to reform criminals through isolation, but the psychological toll was immense. Notorious inmates like Al Capone spent time here, confined to stark, silent cells. Today, visitors report seeing the same figure, a pale man with sunken eyes, moving silently through the cell blocks. Tourists and paranormal investigators consistently describe cold spots, sudden chills, and the feeling of being watched. One 2015 tour group walking through cell block 12 heard footsteps behind them, though cameras captured only empty hallways. The shadows seemed to move, yet vanish when approached. Staff and investigators note a disturbing consistency. The figure appears in the rotunda, along exercise yards, and in solitary cells, always silent, always hollow-eyed. Some visitors claim they see him pacing, standing at the end of a corridor, or appearing briefly in doorways. Photographs sometimes reveal vague human outlines or shadows, but nothing definitive. The penitentiary's design, meant to isolate prisoners, may amplify the haunting, but the entity remains a mystery. Patterns emerge within Eastern State Penitentiary that chill even seasoned investigators. Visitors consistently report seeing the same pale, hollow-eyed figure in multiple locations: the central rotunda, the long cell corridors, and the exercise yards. Some describe it standing perfectly still, staring down the hall, only to vanish when approached. Photographers occasionally capture faint shadows in hallways, blurs of a man where none should be, but nothing definitive. Paranormal researchers have recorded unexplained noises, chains dragging, soft footsteps, whispers echoing through empty cells. Tour guides and staff alike admit to feeling the presence on tours, noting sudden drops in temperature, cold drafts, and the unmistakable sensation of being watched. Even decades after the penitentiary closed in 1971, the entity remains. The same figure observed in 19th-century records continues to appear to modern visitors, a silent witness to the suffering once inflicted inside the stone walls. Its identity, purpose, and origin are unknown. Some suggest it is the lingering spirit of a former prisoner. Others believe it is a manifestation of the prison's oppressive history. Whatever the truth, it is undeniable. Eastern State Penitentiary is haunted by a figure that refuses to leave. The oppressive silence of the empty halls contrasts sharply with the energy of the present-day tours. Each step echoes unnaturally. Each shadow seems to move with intention. Visitors leave uneasy, some shaken, knowing that the pale man continues to pace the corridors, always watching, always silent. From the stone corridors of Philadelphia to the rolling countryside of Suffolk, England, the pattern repeats. Visitors describe the same pale, hollow-eyed figure, always silent, always observing. Borley Rectory, built in 1863, became known as the most haunted house in England. Clergy, guests, and investigators all report seeing a single entity wandering the halls, appearing in windows, and standing silently at the tops of staircases. Across continents and centuries, the evidence is hauntingly consistent. Borley Rectory was constructed in 1863 and became infamous for unexplained phenomena. Father Henry Bull, rector from 1928, meticulously documented footsteps in empty rooms, objects moving on their own, and lights flickering in hallways where no one walked. Guests and locals reported a solitary figure pacing the halls at night, a pale man with hollow eyes, silent, unmoving. Paranormal investigator Harry Price visited multiple times, collecting eyewitness testimonies. Visitors consistently described the same entity appearing in identical locations: the main staircase, hallways, and near doorways. One visitor in 1938 saw the figure standing at the top of the staircase at midnight. When approached, it vanished, leaving only a cold chill in the room. Pause. Price documented multiple incidents: doors opening by themselves, cold drafts in closed rooms, and faint whispering voices echoing in empty hallways. Witnesses were unanimous. The entity remained consistent in appearance, behavior, and presence. Over the decades, Borley Rectory became a hub for paranormal research, attracting investigators who noted the same hollow-eyed man appearing repeatedly. The rectory burned down in 1944, yet reports persisted of the figure in nearby ruins, gardens, and surrounding grounds. Locals insist the haunting never truly ended, maintaining the legend of the pale man who watches silently, waiting for those who enter. Even after the rectory burned in 1944, sightings persisted. Visitors to the ruins reported sudden cold spots, footsteps echoing in empty rooms, and glimpses of the pale, hollow-eyed figure appearing near windows or standing silently in the gardens. Investigators documented objects moving inexplicably, doors opening on their own, and a sense of being constantly watched. Patterns across Borley Rectory, Eastern State Penitentiary, and Aokigahara Forest are striking. Each location is steeped in history, tragedy, or death. And in each, witnesses consistently describe the same type of entity: pale, silent, hollow-eyed, appearing at the edge of vision, vanishing when approached, leaving only unease and questions. Across continents and centuries, this presence endures. It is not limited to one forest, one prison, or one rectory. Those who encounter it speak of the same chilling feeling, the same silent observation, the same unexplainable phenomena. From the moss-covered trees of Japan to the stone halls of Philadelphia to the ruins of Suffolk, it follows humanity, unseen yet unmistakable. Is it the same entity haunting each place, or are these manifestations of fear, grief, and history given form? Drop your theory in the comments and tell us what you think. One thing is certain, some presences refuse to be explained, and some spirits refuse to leave. Wherever tragedy and history linger, the pale man is waiting.